A children's book about overdoing it by Joy Berry. Help me be good. A children's book about overdoing it by Joy Berry. This book is about Lenny. Reading about Lenny can help you understand and deal with overdoing it. Lenny has way too much food but decides to eat it all. Chomp, chomp, smack, slurp. You are overdoing it when you have too much of something. You are overdoing it when you do too much of something. Too much of anything can be harmful. When you overdo it, you can hurt yourself or others. Lenny finishes that big plate of food and burps. Burp. Oh, I don't feel so good. Cat thinks, you look like you have overdone it a bit. You can overdo it by eating or drinking too much. Try not to do this. Do these things instead. Take only a little bit of food at one time. Eat and drink slowly. Finish one mouthful of food before taking another. Do not eat so much that you feel stuffed. Do not eat too much of any one thing, especially sweets. Lenny is sitting at the table and says, I'm going to eat right this time. I don't want to get sick again. Cat thinks, will there be any leftovers for me? You can overdo it by staying up too late and not getting enough sleep. Lenny's dad says, Lenny, it's time for you to go to bed. Lenny says, I don't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. Try not to stay up too late. Do these things instead. With your parents' approval, decide when you should go to bed. Give yourself at least half an hour before bedtime to get ready for bed. Go to bed on time. Do not put it off. Lenny gets ready for bed and says, if I go to bed on time, I won't be too tired to play tomorrow. Cat thinks, hey, who turned off the lights? You can overdo it by being around one person too much. TJ and Lenny are fighting, pow, bang, and Mom runs in and says, I can see that you boys have been together too much. Try not to be around any one person too much. Have several playmates so that you will not have to play with one person all the time. Learn to play alone so that you can be by yourself when you need to be. TJ says to Lenny, give me that toy. It's my turn to play with it. Lenny thinks, I'd better stop playing with TJ before we get into another fight. You can overdo it by staying in one place too long. Lenny's looking out the window and sighs. Oh. Mom sees him and says, you've been inside too long, Lenny. Why not put on your jacket and play outside for a while? Cat thinks, I think I'll stay in. My coat is at the cleaners. Try not to stay in any one place for too long. Do these things instead. Go into another room if you have been in one room too long. Go outside if you have been inside too long. Go to a playground or to a friend's house if you have been at home too much. Lenny is much happier outside and is jumping in the puddles. You can overdo it by doing something too much. For example, you can overdo it by watching too much TV. Lenny's mom says, Lenny, you've been watching TV for too long. Why don't you find something else to do? Try not to watch too much TV. Do these things instead. With the help of your parents, decide which TV programs you should watch. Turn on the TV only when it is time for one of these programs. Turn off the TV when the program is over. Try not to watch TV for more than 1 or 2 hours at a time. Lenny clicks off the TV and says, "I've watched enough TV. It's time for me to do something else." Cat gets up and walks away and thinks, "Yeah, 2 hours is enough. Let's go catch some mice." You can overdo it by being too rough. Lenny is crashing his cars together, and accidentally gets Cat's tail squashed between them. Cat says, "Meouch!" Mom says from the other room, "If you keep playing so roughly with your cars, you're going to break them." Try not to be rough with things. Do this instead. Find out how to use things properly. Use things the way they should be used. Lenny sighs after realizing he broke his car. "Oh, Mom was right. I shouldn't be so rough with my things." Cat thinks, "Yeah, especially your cat." You can overdo it by playing too roughly with other people. Playing too roughly can cause someone to get hurt. This is why you should avoid playing roughly with others. Lenny and TJ are laying on the ground after playing roughly. Mom walks in and says, "What happened?" Lenny says, "We were too rough." It is important to not overdo it so you can enjoy the wonderful people, places, and things around you. Lenny and TJ are playing with their cars nicely, and Kat thinks, "Phew." The end. A note to parents about overdoing it. Moderation is not something that comes naturally to children. When left to their own devices, children often eat until they are sick, play until they are completely exhausted, and roughhouse until someone gets hurt. The purpose of this book is to motivate children to do all things in moderation. It is also to teach children how to relate to the people, places, and things in their lives in positive rather than negative ways. Discussing this book with your child can help him or her get the most out of life without becoming indulgent and incurring unwanted side effects. It can also lay the foundation for later training regarding undesirable addictions such as the abuse of drugs and alcohol. If ever there was a situation in which actions speak louder than words, teaching a child about moderation is it. Teaching your child to avoid overindulgence while you are being indulgent will never work. In order to teach your child moderation, it is crucial that you practice it in every phase of your own life. Thank you.